Manchester United, horrendous performance and defeat against Tottenham. 2-0 away at Wembley. Really horseshit from Manchester United. Absolutely fucking dog shit that was from Manchester United. Just not good enough at all. So poor. Our worst performance from me of the whole season. Absolutely fucking diabolical. Manchester United have put a good enough team out to put on a performance. The players have let Jose Mourinho down, and the manager hasn't helped himself either this evening, but absolutely diabolical from Manchester United. Now, I was fairly happy with the attacking lineup. That was what I wanted to see in the forward line. Martial, Sanchez, Lukaku and Lingard. Was happy with that. Wasn't expecting Juan Mata to play as he started the game against Yeovil. The rest of the team was acceptable. I'm not a massive fan of obviously playing Ashley Young at left back. The centre halves, Jones and Smalling, are not good enough for Manchester United if we're looking to win top trophies. But Jose Mourinho hasn't been able to find his best back four so far for me this season. We have chopped and changed them. The defenders, Rojo's played. Lindelof hasn't played nowhere near enough minutes probably that he should have played. And we've conceded stupid goals at times this season. On the whole, we've defended fairly well. I mean, David Hare's got the most clean sheets this season, but stupid defensive errors have cost Manchester United a lot on occasions. Okay, we haven't even scored tonight. We were toothless up front. Absolutely fucking toothless. But defensive errors. Okay, the first goal should have been disallowed because Harry Kane was in Manchester United's half when the centre kick was taken. But that's no excuse. Manchester United shouldn't be conceding straight from the kick-off like that. That is absolutely diabolical. Whether it should be allowed or not, Manchester United thoroughly deserved to get beaten tonight. And if this game was 4-0, I couldn't argue with that because Manchester United were horseshit. But Manchester United have to sort out these stupid, idiotic mistakes that we've made. You look back to the game with Stoke, Burnley game, games like that, Leicester City. We've conceded some stupid goals. Now, the two centre halves is got to get sorted for Manchester United. Now that back four was a back four that could have potentially played under Fergie because that was all the players that Fergie had, and all them players were deemed not good enough under Fergie, and yet they're still getting game time. Okay, Valencia's done a decent job at right back, but would he get into many of the top teams in Europe? It's debatable, and he's coming to the end of his career. But the other three wouldn't get into the top teams around Europe that are fighting to win the Champions League, which is a concern for me as a Manchester United fan. Obviously, Manchester United are not going to be winning the Champions League this season. If we did, it would be an absolute miracle. But if we are to challenge for the Champions League in the next few years, Manchester United have got to get away from that and start to get together, which we have done, but it is going to take time. Get together a team that you would put on paper players would get into the Bayern Munichs, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids and the PSGs and Man Cities of this world that are fighting to win that Champions League. And obviously Manchester United aren't at that level yet, but tonight was a horrible performance. But the only good factor of this game was that Chelsea also lost tonight 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. So that has left Manchester United in second position still. It's just that Tottenham have closed the gap. Now, I said before the game that I would happily take a point in this game because it's a difficult away game. And I'm more disappointed that Manchester United have played so horseshit tonight. And yeah, you can give Tottenham some credit for how they've played, but to be honest, Manchester United have been diabolical, and at times you can hold your hands up and say, look, the other team played better, and there's not a lot you can do on the night. The other team have performed better and you've been a bit below par, but I think Manchester United have been absolutely shocking this evening. Yes, Tottenham have been decent, but a good performance from Manchester United, and we could have at least got that draw out of this game that I wanted. Tottenham have only scored 2 goals and one of them was an own goal, so it is very disappointing from Manchester United, but we will go again. But what's worrying me is when we come up against bigger games in the Champions. I mean, this isn't a massive game for Manchester United. I think Manchester United will get. It is a big game, but Manchester United, I think, will finish in the top 4. But barring an absolute fuck up this season, I think we're going to probably have bigger games coming up in the FA Cup and probably the Champions League if Manchester United are to get past Seville. But Manchester United are probably not in the running for getting to the latter stages of the Champions League. But if we come up against better teams than this in the Champions League, the likes of Barcelona and that, Manchester United have got to sort this problem out defensively, because we could get ripped apart against the better teams. We're playing Jones and Smalling at centre back. I mean, what, Manchester United spent millions and millions on defenders, and we're still playing Smalling and Jones at centre back. And Ashley Young at left back. It's just not good enough for Manchester United. He spent big money on Lindelof, and he's not really seen a lot of football, which is worrying. But he's still young. I mean, we have got Eric Bay coming back, so hopefully that will help ease the defensive issues at Manchester United a bit. That hasn't helped having Eric Bay out, but that's no excuse. Manchester United have got a number of centre halves. Could Axel Tuanzebe be doing a better job? He hasn't really got enough minutes this season and has now gone out on loan to Aston Villa. But it is disappointing. We need to find that centre half pairing that is going to stay stable for Manchester United for the next few years. We had Vidic and Ferdinand, obviously two of the greats, but they were, barring injury, you knew that them two players were going to play ever present in them positions. And at this moment in time, you couldn't, out the four defenders, the four defenders that are fit, Rojo, Lindelof, Smalling and Jones, you couldn't really say for Sir, which is the best pairing, which is worrying for Manchester United moving forward for the rest of the season. But the league is gone, so if Manchester United can still cement their place in second position, it is just a shame that a gap has closed up between ourselves and Tottenham to only, I think, 5 points, which is disappointing. We just want to cement that place in that second position. Then we can start resting players and trying to maybe do the impossible, go far in the Champions League, or maybe win the FA Cup. I think even winning the FA Cup may be difficult as well, but there's still a lot of positives to take from going forward this season. We've got to look forward and hope that Manchester United can challenge for them trophies at the end of the day. Come the end of the season, this match probably won't be remembered and will all be forgotten, hopefully in a couple of weeks, if Manchester United have still got a decent lead in the top 4 race. Anyway, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.